new campaign ads from both John McCain and Barack Obama are out now, but is the mudslinging effective in helping voters make up their minds?
Joining us is Chris Kofinas, former John Edwards Communications Director, and Brad Blakeman, former senior advisor to Presidents George Sr. and George W. Bush during their campaigns and their administrations. Okay, so you guys have both worked on big presidential campaigns. Do you have actual concrete evidence that expensive political TV commercials actually help voters decide who to vote for?
I do.
Okay, go ahead, Brad. You start. I mean, you have actual evidence that that's how people make their decision.
Sure. I mean, polling has been done, and more importantly, look at the last presidential cycle. It was done not by a presidential campaign, by a third party. It was a Swift boat ads. It was an ad that came out saying that John Kerry exaggerated his service by people who served with him. A very effective ad. Now, when you ask people if they like negative ads, they say no. But evidence suggests that they're very effective.
All right, Brad, this is not an ad from a third party, but let's go ahead and take a look at one of the ads from one of the candidates that's out there right now.
Barack Obama never held a single Senate hearing on Afghanistan. He hasn't been to Iraq in years. He voted against funding our troops, positions that helped him win his nomination. Now Obama is changing to help himself become president. John McCain has always supported our troops and the surge that's working. McCain, country first.
All right, we'll get Chris's opinion, but Brad, what about that works?
I think it's a very effective ad because it's truthful. It states his record. Obama's running on judgment, not experience, and that attacks his judgment and his ability to lead our country.
Chris, what do you find wrong with that ad?
Well, I mean, there's two basic types of ads. There's ads, if you will, the free media ads, the ones that you want to try to generate as much media attention, and the ones that you're going to pay to build up and create as much public awareness. That's, you know, that's one of those pay a lot of money to kind of build awareness. It's not a very persuasive ad. I mean, put aside what he says, which I think is way over the top and wrong, but just in terms of the effectiveness, that is not an ad that you're going to remember if you're an average person sitting at home doing what you're doing, and all of a sudden that ad pops up. That's not something that's going to linger. So in terms of being an effective ad, it really isn't.
Now, Chris, you know, John McCain is also airing another ad now, basically slamming Barack Obama for not visiting the troops at Landstuhl and Ramstein when he was in Europe.
And played basketball instead.
And he says that he played basketball instead. That the Obama campaign has called out of bounds. Chris, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I think it's way out of bounds. I think it's somewhat ironic that, you know, John McCain is sitting there politicizing the troops and this visit when he knows that Senator Obama visited the troops in Iraq, visited the troops in Afghanistan, supported the GI Bill, and voted against a war that we shouldn't have fought. So the notion that you know, John McCain's going to hit him on this, I find somewhat, you know, ironic. But the ad itself is really ineffective.
Hold that thought, and Brad will get your thoughts on that as well. We will be right back.
2 minutes.
We're back with Chris Kofinas, former John Edwards Communications Director, and Brad Blakeman, former senior advisor to Presidents George Sr. and George W. Bush during their campaigns. Okay, guys, so what I was asking you about both was just how effective you think that these TV ads are. And one reason, Brad, I'm asking is because Barack Obama has really made use of the internet during this campaign, and he's just done it again. On the internet, he's released an attack called 100 Days, 100 Ways, in which he thinks that John McCain is like George W. Bush. Maybe we can play a little portion of this. I think that there might be some audio with this, but in any event, you can find it on the website. And so that is a way that he can save money and not do an expensive TV ad.
Sure, it's smart, it's effective, and the McCain campaign is doing it as well. You can have a new ad every day on the internet, and it gets a lot of play. Smart, people put it on YouTube. So you have to use every technology today that's available to you to get your message out. It's a cheap way of doing things, and quite frankly, I think people are going to see it's going to be effective.
And Chris, you would have to say that it would be very effective to do whatever the Obama campaign could do to link John McCain to George Bush. I mean, you just look at the Gallup polls and the approval rating, and the current President of the United United States is he's hit a tough patch here.
Yeah, I mean, this is, if you will, the bedrock of his Senator Obama and the Obama campaign strategy going, from now until the last day. I mean, they're going to tie John McCain to George Bush's record and the accomplishments or lack thereof over the last 8 years. And I think it's a very smart strategy. You're going to see that in multimedia. He's going to use that both online and offline. It's a very strong angle of attack, and it's going to be something they're going to use again and again.
But Brad, if I may just say this, that I think Chris has got a flawed strategy with the Obama campaign, because not since 1952 do we not have an heir apparent. So they're trying to make McCain that heir apparent. It's not going to work. I think the reason why...
Well, the Obama campaign isn't doing that, Brad. It's actually John McCain who's done that. John McCain has done that.
They're making, you just said it, they're making John McCain the heir apparent to a Bush presidency.
Absolutely, but the reason why that's effective.
It's his
one at a time, guys, one at a time.
Well, Brad, I'll build on both your points. John McCain has not built on the fact that he's a maverick and that he's been poking Republicans and this president for all 7 years, agreeing on some things but going against them on others. You've been in the White House probably when you heard about John McCain's reluctance to follow the president.
And in some instances, it was very frustrating for this administration to have a leader like John McCain bucking the president. But John McCain's strength is the fact that he's appealing to these Reagan Democrats and these independents who we need to win. And I think John McCain has to press more on that.
I mean, the problem here is that John McCain of 2000 is so fundamentally different than John McCain of 2000. He's completely changed. And unfortunately, what's making the angle of attack for the Obama campaign that much easier is John McCain's changes. He chose, for example, to change the position on the Bush tax cuts. That was a fundamental change from the maverick independent that we saw in 2000, and that has hurt him. That's what makes the Obama campaign's attacks that much stronger. So I don't blame the Obama campaign for that. I blame John McCain and the McCain campaign for that.
Oh, can't we all just get along? All right, Chris Kofinas and Brad Blakeman, we thank you guys for joining us today. Now go out in the hall and share an elevator down to the ground floor.